Hey, Mike, guess what?
What?
Mike, raging rivers, hungry bears, drastic avalanches, roaring seas, no matter how prepared you are, a walk in the woods can go from innocent to disaster in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
When pushed to their breaking point, humans are capable of astonishing things that you would never thought of possible.
Yeah.
Listen to In the Wild as they explore the most heroic, terrifying, and phenomenal stories of real people who survived the unsurvivable. Learn what went wrong, what went right, and how you can make it out alive if the worst case ever happened to you. In the Wild podcast reviews on Apple include Love Your Podcast from Laura. It's scary how relentless nature can be. I always enjoy this podcast at work. It keeps me on the edge of my seat. Or how about we go with Hiker 0001? Good stories and good narration. I like when there are sound effects that add to the ambience of the story. In the Wild podcast on Apple Podcasts and everywhere you get your podcast downloads.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading edge topics, along with special guests to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat. Raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Well, welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week, our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And of course, with a little whiskey on the side. I'm Nathan Mumm. Welcome to our show today. We live stream during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to watch us live or visit us online at techtimeradio.com. Tweet us during the show at hashtag TechTimeRadio, and we'll do our best to respond to the tweets on the air live. If you enjoy the show, we always would like to get a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever podcast replay service you may be using. I'm your host, a technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise, working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. My co-host here, Mike Gorday, is an award-winning author, originally from Arizona. Mike's a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike is here to keep me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. We are two friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
Today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the Google Bard launch was a huge failure, big failure. We're going to be talking about it. It cost the company not only money, but a black eye in the race for Search 2.0.
Really?
I'll tell you this. Yeah, Microsoft won, Google -1. So they didn't even do zero.
Right, I don't know if I can believe you.
Oh, well, we're going to be talking about that.
You're like the hero
of Microsoft?
ChatGPT.
Well, you know what? I don't have to say it. We'll have a couple other news sources that will tell you all about this too. Okay, now Valentine's Day scams and how to avoid them. You're going to be talking about that, Mr. Gorday, a little bit, because this is the time where people get hooked up for Valentine's Day scams. Have you ever had one come across your email or your
a Valentine's Day scam?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll be talking about that.
I know that when I was actively dating previously,
Yeah.
there was always scammers.
Well, we're going to talk specifically about Valentine's Day and how people target people specifically today. And then Amazon still wants to own the grocery store market. I don't quite get that. They did buy Whole
Amazon
Foods.
wants to own everything.
They do.
Why
So they've been struggling. They've been struggling with this, and now all of a sudden they still want to continue to invest. And it's kind of one of those things where I guess if you invest so much, well, we'll be talking about that too. And guess what? Today you will get to listen to our Chat GPT Valentine's Day's poems randomly insert
I'm telling you.
into the show. That's right. Chat GPT.
I already know about the one we made for Bard.
So we got a couple that we're going to be talking about. These are all created by Chat GPT. What a simple way to create a Valentine's Day greeting. Forget the Hallmark cards nowadays. All you got to do is use ChatGPT and you're good to go.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Then we also have Gwenway in our studio because it is Gadgets and Gear. She has, though, a fantastic segment discussing a vital software initiative. It's something I think you and her are going to talk about a little bit. So that'll be exciting. And aircraft. Tactical aircraft flown for 17 hours on AI. How do you feel about your aircraft to protect your country flying on artificial intelligence?
No comment.
In addition, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, This Week in Technology, and a possible Nathan Nugget. As always, we have our pick of the day whiskey tasting during the commercials to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, story number 1, the Google Bard launch was a big failure. Since the official event, Google employees have taken to their own internal forum, which is called Memegen, to slam the CEO and company for its widely criticized launch handling of their AI. This is supposed to have competed with Microsoft's ChatGPT. All of this info that I have comes from a CNBC reporter who claims to have viewed the internal messages. And according to what the report states, staffers are describing the Bard announcement as botched, rushed, and ungoogly. I don't know exactly what googly means, but probably not cool. Is that what they're probably saying? Ungoogly?
Yeah.
I don't know what ungoogly means.
Well, Google it. Google is like a descriptor nowadays,
yeah,
right?
so,
Google it.
But it was ungoogly.
It's ungoogly.
Okay, there
So
you go.
it doesn't fit with the Google.
It doesn't. Well, it didn't fit at all. So
Or eyes, apparently.
Yeah, that's
they don't have googly eyes.
the
Never mind.
Google
Go
eyes.
ahead.
All right, so we
Go
have
on.
the condensed audio from the CNBC report to talk about right now.
Fallout from Bard's blunder. Google employees criticizing their own company on an internal forum after shares fell nearly 10% this week. Messages and memes describing the effort as rushed, botched, and comically short-sighted. Let's bring in CNBC's Jennifer Elias, who broke the story about this employee dissent. And Jennifer, I guess the question is this a new wave of dissatisfaction? Is this particularly targeted at this kind of fumbled effort this week?
I would say because of the short span of time between the Bard announcement and the fumble with that, and then the layoffs announced abruptly last month, that's sort of creating this compounded reaction from employees who are really feeling dissatisfied, embarrassed a little bit by the recent Bard fumble, and just really calling out CEO Sundar Pichai, saying, how is this keeping focused? You know, this is seeming like a rushed reaction to what Microsoft is doing with ChatGPT. So they sort of felt like it was a little bit of a backtrack from that as well.
Yeah, it's all fair, and I guess look, the culture there is one where employees have a voice, and I guess this has got a hard edge to it.
All right, so let's actually talk about what happened. So Google did their big press announcement, right? They come on out with Bard, and they actually put in a live demo for the chat itself. So what actually went wrong on the public demo was they asked a question regarding the discoveries of the James Webb Space Telescope. And we've talked about that on our show many a times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about it. In the video, it said, what new discoveries from the James Webb Space Telescope can I tell my 9-year-old about? And it quickly responded with 2 correct answers. However, its final response was inaccurate and had nothing to do with the telescope itself. Immediately, this hits the Twitterverse when this is happening, right? So Google continues on with their demo. They had this as a part of their demo. They thought everything was fine. They had no one do any fact checking.
News at the speed of thumbs.
Yeah, and essentially it comes on out, and oh my word, they had people drop. They had people no longer talk about the device itself. It is clear right now, Google and Microsoft are locked in a race to dominate the AI chatbot market. But Google needs to work on its launch plans. And next time, make sure if you're bringing out an AI with a question, you may want to ask it something that you verify the facts it will return before you do a live presentation.
Maybe I should Ask it if it recommends Chat GPT.
Well, we're going to be talking. I did.
We already know.
Okay, there we
know.
go. All
We
right.
already know.
Story number 2 there, Mike.
Okay, well, everybody knows it's Valentine's Day, and whether you like it or you hate it, you got to be careful if you're out there using your platforms, because this is the time where a lot of online scams occur.
Okay.
So, got to be careful. So, if you're looking at those nice pictures of females, males, or whatever your particular attractant is,
Yeah.
you better be careful, because experts warn that this is the peak season for online romance scams,
Okay, makes sense.
which accounts for a staggering 1.3 billion in losses last year.
Wow.
The pandemic and our increasingly digital lives mean anyone feeling particularly lonely this season could make for a potential target, and that's primarily why this happens at this time of the year, because despite what logic goes into the whole Valentine's Day thing,
Yeah.
you're going to call it a Hallmark
Holiday?
holiday, whatever, but we have it's the same problem that we have with Christmas and Thanksgiving. There's this sort of psychology to it.
Okay.
Right? So it starts with what looks like an innocent message through social media. They introduce themselves as a woman in a war-torn country, or a man working on an oil rig in the middle of nowhere. Someone who's never actually accessible.
So that's kind of the key. Oh, isn't that kind
Yeah,
of
but this is not a new one.
Okay.
I used to get these all the time.
All right.
Not just in the recent past, but in the far past, at the advent of
The internet?
the internet.
Okay.
Right? So there's always an excuse why they can't meet you in person. It's baked into the identity they take it on. The one that I always get was, I was a nurse,
As a nurse.
and I'm stranded in like some country in South America or Africa.
Okay.
Right? Eventually, the scammer will ask for money, often playing with their mark's heart to get them to send them cash. And a lot of times they'll ask for prepaid Walmart cards and
Or
stuff
Google
like
cards,
that, or
right?
Google cards.
Yeah. Okay.
So they might say they need to escape a dangerous situation, or just to buy a plane ticket to visit. Once they've got the money, of course.
Yep.
The scammer is left holding the bag without their date.
What?
The dollars just disappear. Stick to your dating app. Most dating apps don't like scammers. It's bad for their reputation. Some of these folks have said, be aware that if someone wants to move your communications to an outside messaging app like WhatsApp or Signal,
Don't do it. So stay in the app itself, right?
No, I wouldn't say don't do it. Just beware.
Just
be
beware.
wary.
Okay.
It follows a very predictable route.
Okay.
And they'll and really the more intimate details that you share with people, the more leverage they can get on you.
Okay.
So never give money to anybody you've met only online.
Okay. That makes sense.
If someone you've never met in person asks you for money, or to travel to the US to see you, or to pay for medical care, whatever it is, you should regard that as a scam.
Okay.
Because that's what it is.
All right.
Because I don't know how many times I've been in a dire situation and I've looked online and found a random person on Facebook and be like, "Hey, can you rescue me from this?"
That just doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
But what happens in this little cycle is that we start to have feelings involved,
Yeah.
especially if we're very lonely and we're feeling all the pressure that
Holidays create.
Hallmark holiday creates.
Yeah.
And we will risk it.
$1.3 billion.
$1.3 billion worth of risk.
Wow.
That is the price of loneliness on Valentine's Day.
Okay. All right. Now,
there you go.
Should you also give your cryptocurrency keys away?
You should give them anything they want. Nathan.
Actually, nowadays, I guess you could give your cryptocurrency keys away because they're not
send
worth
it to
anything.
them. I used to play back, and I kept someone on for 3 days
Really?
texting them and telling them. I told them I would send them $10,000, and they were like, "No, I just want $1,200."
Just $1,200
Like, are
bucks.
you sure? Because I can totally. It was.
What ended up happening on that then?
They finally cussed me out and left.
They do that? That's when the scammers call me on the phone for these
Usually
things.
what I do is I let them play around a little bit, and then I start calling them out, and then they just disappear.
All right. All right. Story number 3. Amazon plans to eventually go big on physical grocery stores. Amazon bought Whole Foods in 2017 for $13.7 billion, but the company is far from dominating the grocery market like it has so many other sectors, despite pumping the brakes on some growth plans and recently saying that it will lay off more than 1,800 people. Amazon is still looking to expand its empire. The company intends to go big on its brick and mortar grocery stores business. CEO Andy Jassy told the Financial Times. Amazon bought Whole Foods in 2017 for $13.7 billion, but the company really wants to focus on the physical store division, which accounts for only 3.4% of the overall business it has currently right now. We're just at the early stages, Jassy told the Financial Times. We're hopeful that in 2023, we will have a format that we will want to go big on the physical side. We have a history of doing a lot of experimental items and then doing things quickly. And if we can find something that we like, doubling down on it, which we intend to do.
What is this? What is this? Expanding Whole Foods?
Well, so it's
Or is it like buying up other things like Safeways and
Kroger's and all these other? I don't think it's expanding Whole Foods. I think Whole Foods is their niche market they have for this high end stuff. I think it's going for one of these big players out there.
Whole Foods is the same stuff you get at every other market. It just costs
your whole paycheck. That's what our friends called it. Whole paycheck.
Whole paycheck.
You go there, your whole paycheck's gone. All right. Well, we will see if Amazon has its way. They do have the logistics in place to distribute across the nation with their delivery services that they use peak performances during Christmas.
They have huge yachts. They can just travel around. And
what they're saying is
maybe they can take over an oil rig and turn that into a gigantic grocery store.
Well, they believe that they can take their logistics, which is what they're most significantly proud about, and make it into the grocery store channel.
They're going to buy Walmart.
I don't know. Walmart's got a lot of money. That would be a pretty big buy there, wouldn't it?
Well, Walmart has the logistics that they need.
Okay, there you go. All right. Well, that ends our top stories of the week. Coming up, we have gadgets and gear with Gwen Way. You do not want to miss this segment. Plus, our Chat GPT Valentine rhymes will be right after this commercial break.
Yay.
We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Hey, Mike, I'm looking for some help writing our blog post for Tech Time Radio.
Well, you should try Phosphor AI. It's an online service that will save you hours of work with your content creation. Simply type in your title, and their AI software will get to work writing a high-quality original article for you. You'll need to review the article and take 15 to 20 minutes to make necessary edits before publishing. But you'll get free articles just for signing up, so you can try out the service and see how it works for you.
How many articles do I get free?
I already said you get 3 free articles. You should listen when I'm talking to you. Phosphor AI pricing is very reasonable for the quality of content that you'll get.
Why waste time writing the content yourself when you get Phosphor AI to do it for you? Visit them online today at Phosphor AI. Again, that's PHOSPHORAI.com.
Well, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Day. Well, right now, before we get into our whiskey review, we have Mike and Mark in studio. We have Gwen on the video, but we're going to start off with our Chat GPT poem for Valentine's Day.
Yay.
I asked Chat GPT to write a sarcastic poem. That's our first one we're starting out with. And here's what they said. Roses are red and violets are blue. I don't really care, and neither should you. This holiday's a joke, a marketing scheme to make us buy chocolates and flowers so pristine. Let's pretend we're in love just for today and ignore the fact that love fades away. Why waste time on gifts and cheesy dates when you could be binging Netflix shows until late? So here's a Valentine's poem full of snark. And if you take it seriously, that's just stark. Let's skip the romance and just be friends and hope this holiday quickly ends. Now, come on, ChatGPT is at least worth a little bit of a laugh for that poem there. That's got some rhythm.
I think the most fun we had is it telling you couldn't get all the dirty stuff you wanted.
Wow. Hey, hang on. I let me just tell you, I still have the upcoming. I have a short poem to an ex that you work with in South Park, Cartman's voice. So we still got that coming up.
Oh,
so
great.
We got some other stuff. All right. Well, now we just had our first whiskey tasting during the break. Now let me tell you that we have Mark in studio. Tell us what we are sipping for our pick of the day.
I was going to, but if we're just friends, I'm taking my bottle of whiskey and going home to watch Netflix.
Well, we convinced
Holy
until late.
moly.
Roses are red, violets are blue.
Well,
I don't really care, and neither should you.
Wow. Well, I had seen that you recently passed 25,000 subscribers on YouTube, so
Yes.
I wanted to bring in a nice bottle for you here.
Well, thank you.
So this is Calumet Farm 16-year bourbon. It's a single rack black citation. It's straight bourbon, non-age dated, 106 proof, and it's roughly about $150 a bottle.
$150. Wow, $150.
That is something that's never going to appear on your shelf.
Well, no. That's just like 7 bottles of other whiskey that I would have.
That's why it's never going to appear on your shelf.
All right. So this had a little bit of a little bit of a burn. Tell us a little bit more about
long
this.
burn.
Well, let me say, according to Calumet Farm's website, Calumet Farm 16-year-old bourbon is one of the newest offerings called Citation from their stables of the single rack black bourbon line. Its bold tastes and flavors are matched perfectly well with a balanced finish. Notes of saturated oak and a warm rye spice open the palate, allowing the flavors of cherry, dark fruit, and baking spice to present fully. Fresh baked bread, toasted toffee, and a light cornmeal dryness rounds out the rich flavors.
All right.
Well, it does have a rich flavor.
It does
Got
have
a
a
long burn, though.
It does have a long burn. Mine's still burning. Is yours still burning too?
No.
Mine is still burning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's 160 proof?
No.
108.
106.
106. Okay. All right.
106.
I am feeling it a little bit though already.
So the proof isn't very high. You're probably getting a little bit of the rye. And
Are you
since it's-
serious?
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
pretty
since
good.
it's 16 years old, you're getting a lot of the oak influence.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right.
All right, now that we got our whiskey out of the way, let's get our next segment ready to go. Gadgets and gear with our producer, Gwen Way.
What's new in our gadgets and gear?
All right, Gwen, welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much. As always, I am happy to be here.
We're happy to have you on too. Now, you got a big announcement, right? So your company just made a big announcement yesterday. Or it was
Exactly.
a couple days ago. So why don't you tell us about your announcement? For people that don't know, you work for a cybersecurity company.
That is right. Longtime listeners probably remember that I work for a company called Act Zero that focuses on using AI and machine learning to increase cybersecurity. Well, we just released a new platform that has blown away the numbers of other companies, our competitors.
That's good. We like you to be the winner. So you're the winner and they're the losers. I like that.
Exactly. I'm sure you know that ransomware is ever evolving. They've gotten to the point where they can actually achieve a breakout, which is basically a takeover of a company's network in about 43 minutes. We are actually able to eradicate that ransomware attack within 17, so long before it actually can take hold.
Okay. So when essentially what happens is when a malware goes on out into an environment, it takes a while to propagate. So it's got to go from one server to another server to another server. And the idea is that you want to be the first person that you can to stop it, or you want to stop it as quick as possible.
This is digital penicillin, is it?
That's exactly.
Pretty
And so if
much,
you-
yeah.
And if you can stop it, the quicker you stop it, the less effect it'll have. And so your company can stop it on an average attack where most will take, what is it? Is it an average like 7 minutes, or what's the average out there right now?
The average right now is 98 minutes.
98
That's
minutes.
industry average.
Okay.
We stop it in 17.
17 minutes or 17 seconds?
Dun, dun, dun.
17 minutes. I wish it was
17 minutes.
17 seconds.
Okay, 17
Soon.
minutes.
We'll get there.
Okay, 17 minutes. So this is by far, congratulations.
Thank you.
I would not expect anything other than that. So all of our special guests, we have Espinoza, we got Gwen, we got Phil. All of us are into the cybersecurity areas in different fields, but we are excited to have you tell us that information. Now, we're also excited to have you talk about this new Kickstarter. So tell me what it's about. I know you and Mike are probably going to have more to talk about this than I do. So that's going to be very interesting. So tell us about what did you find and what are we going to be talking about?
So normally I come in here with, the latest dog robot or a fun power cube or solar power or something like this. But for Valentine's Day, I wanted to come in with a little more sobriety, something that I think a lot of people need to learn about. It is an app called Hera, Hera, that helps people who are in abusive relationships track the patterns of their abuse and share that information with trusted people if they feel comfortable doing so.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about this and where you found out about this and backers and everything like that, and then we'll go a little bit more into what the app does itself.
Sure. So there's some basic statistics that we need to go over for this. Obviously, domestic violence is a huge problem, not just in the United States, but around the world. In fact, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have actually been victims of severe physical violence by an intimate partner. That is a horrible number.
Yeah.
The number of women who have been killed by a current or former partner is nearly double the number of soldiers' lives that were lost in the war in Afghanistan and Iraq during an 11-year period.
How about that sobering for Valentine's Day?
Well,
exactly.
we got the news, right? We're going to report the news and the information, so that's good that we're talking about this.
Exactly.
All right. So what's the goal for this app? Where can you find out more information about it? Is this a Kickstarter campaign? Where is this at?
It is. It's on Kickstarter. We've got about 23 days to go, so until March 10th, which gives you plenty of time to hop on. Right now, there are only 7 backers, which is tragic. I think this needs to be shouted out off the rooftop, so we need to get a lot more people involved and willing to help out with this.
Well,
the base support that you can give is about $13. You start out at £10. It's an English-based product. So you start out at about £10, which is $13 to $15, depending on the day. You can pledge more. They actually have the ability to pledge £500, which is about $600. And for that, you get your name in the app. But far more important than that is just getting this app out there and available for the people who need it.
How does it work?
It gives you the opportunity to track types of violence. So you can track if they used violent words, if they actually used physical violence, if it was emotional manipulation, if they were being controlling. You can take notes on what the exact behavior was, when it took place, so that you can track. There's kind of a cycle to abuse where the abuser does something horrible, then apologizes, promises to do better, does better for a little bit of time, and then goes back to abuse. You can figure out that time frame and kind of know what to expect. And you can also pass that on to loved ones and either ask for help or have that available to them so they know what's happening.
So if a loved one has this app, and I did a bunch of research in this app itself.
Mm-hmm.
So a loved one can have the app and they can be a partner is what they call it in the app itself. So if let's say their sister or relative is being abused, that they would get the information itself. And so they can actually then help build a case of abusive behavior instead of the one incident here and call the police, or 2 incidents here and have that person be an accountability partner to the individual itself.
All right. Exactly. So this is essentially an online notepad where you're taking down abusive. Now, I've got 2 questions and I don't know if you can answer them, but A, one of the hallmarks of an abusive relationship is the person that suffers the abuse often also denies the abuse. So they are in denial a lot of time,
Yeah.
and so they don't recognize when the abuse happened. So if they're keying in their own thing, how does this work?
I don't know.
Well,
I guess I'd have to ask Gwen. Explain that
so
a little bit to us.
there are two things that can be done. If it is the person who is being abused keeping track of things, oftentimes, while they will deny the abuse externally, if you can convince them to just write it down and keep track of it, it becomes more clear to them that they are in an abusive relationship. Another thing that you can do is if you are the partner, you can track the abuse and then show it to the person being abused so that they can see the cycle and start to internalize that this is happening to them.
All right.
Okay, all right.
So you can go to Kickstarter. You're going to look for the app is called Hera, Hera. It tracks patterns of abuse in relationship. They have right now only about $100 or maybe $150 that's been put in there. I know that I am going to contribute after the show today, that I will be kickstarting and backing them. So hopefully we can reach out to our radio audience. It does seem to be a valid app company that has published other apps out of the UK. So I think this is absolutely something that it would be great to bring light to. I don't know if the app is going to be the end all of be all to this domestic problem that is out there.
No.
But I do believe that it can at least give some clarity and some information to people to let them know that there are ways to have information tracked and be able to be more responsive in that.
And
Well,
to
my
get help.
my assumption here is that if somebody uses this app on a regular basis, it also can be provided as evidence for things like restraining orders and things like
Exactly.
that.
It sure can. It can be provided as evidence for either the restraining order, for court cases. If the abuser is prosecuted, this can be entered into evidence for that as well. It also gives a better understanding of the law, explanations of the different laws in various areas, and ways to connect to not only law enforcement, but also additional resources,
Like
domestic
shelters and
abuse
things of that?
shelters.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, Gwen. Well, this is a great thing to be bringing up for our gadgets and gear. So we really appreciate this. I know that Valentine's Day, we're going to be kind of going up and down. We got some Valentine's items, but this is a key item, and this app just came on out. So it just so happened to coincide with Valentine's Day, and we thought it was a good thing to bring up and talk about immediately once we saw it for our show. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
All right, Gwen, thank you very much. We'll see you next Monday at the production meeting.
Sounds good. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. We're going to head out to a
Bye.
commercial break. Still on the show, we have Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, Technology Fail of the Week, and This Week in Technology. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We'll see you after the break.
This is Mark.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer.
Called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we go back to February 12th, 2001. The Near Shoemaker spacecraft touches down on the saddle region of asteroid 433 Euros, becoming the first spacecraft to land on an asteroid. The mission's primary goal was to study the near-Earth asteroid for approximately 1 year. Euros is an S-type
That's
asteroid.
Eros.
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 Did I say Euros?
You said Euros.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Eros.
which you know what Eros means?
What's that?
Love.
Oh, does it mean love? I
Yeah.
did not know. Okay,
How about that? Valentine's
There you
Day
go.
for you, buddy.
Eros is an S-type asteroid, the second largest near-Earth asteroid. The mission ended with a touchdown in Eros Saddle region on February 12, 2001. Scientists claim that the mission's ultimate goal was to link Eros to meteorites recovered on Earth. With sufficient data on chemical composition, a causal link could be established between Eros and the other S-type asteroids, and those meteorites believed to be pieces of the S-type asteroid, perhaps Eros itself. NEAR did not prove or disprove this link to the satisfaction of scientists. They were not able to say yes or no if those were actually the same pieces.
No, but it happened in 2001, so I feel like we need the Blue Danube Waltz to be playing in the background.
Yeah, you need to redo it again and with today's technology and see what would happen, right? Because there could be a lot more advanced technology now.
Well, yeah,
to do some of those testing.
I mean, that's what they were doing with DART and things like that. We've reported on a few things that have been tested against
newer items that have been around for quite a long time. Between December 1999 and February 2001, NEAR used its gamma ray spectrometer to detect gamma ray burst as part of the interplanetary network. The spacecraft was terminated, though, just after 2 weeks of landing on the asteroid.
Yep.
That was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with over 2 hours of video, podcast, and blog information, you can visit techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows or join the Tech Timers Facebook group to talk with us all live all the time, including Gwen, she's on there, very active. We're going to take a commercial break now. When we return, we have Mark's Mumbles Whiskey Review and our Technology Fail of the Week. We'll see you after the break.
TechTime Radio is brought to you today by Nutility, the platform that makes utility management seamless by selecting your service providers, splitting a single bill amongst roommates, and then shutting off your service when it's time for you to move out. Nutility reviews your preferences and sets up all the utilities for you. This provides you with the best local provider in your service area. It's much easier than splitting up your bills between roommates. No more late Larry not being able to get to you on time to make the payments, and no more Venmo charges or PayPal charges. One place to do your billing so that everybody pays on time. Now, how can you use this great service from Nutility, you ask? Aha! Well, you can absolutely get it now and get 3 months for free. That's correct. If you go to Nutility.com, again, it kind of sounds like utility, but it's Nutility.com. Use the tech code 3, and again, that's NUTILITI.com. Get your first 3 months for free using the code TECH3.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
I got to go to the end of the drum roll there.
Yeah, I like
Love
that.
it.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, we all know today's Valentine's Day. Thank you for inviting me today to be with my Valentine, Nathan.
Oh,
no, isn't that cute? What other day is it? Is there another day out there?
I also wanted you to know that it's National Cream-Filled Chocolates Day, known as truffles. And I brought some in for everyone as they make interesting pairings for bourbon, especially the one we have today. So I have both milk chocolate and dark chocolate.
He brought candy.
I brought candy for my Valentine.
Oh,
and Mike and Cody.
Okay, here we go. Here you go. He can take one, pass it down. Look at this.
So while you eat those and drink your whiskey, let me tell you a little bit more about it.
Okay.
So Calumet Farm's 16-year bourbon Citation is a tribute to one of the greatest thoroughbreds in racing history. Citation would go on to capture the 1948 Triple Crown and be named Horse of the Year. By the end of his 3-year-old season, he had a total record of 27 victories and 2 second-place finishes out of 29 starts. Citation would go on winning and be the first major North American horse to amass a 16-race win streak. So you get it, 16 years, bourbon, 16-year race.
Okay, I get it.
I just make sure you're paying attention. And he's the top 1 million in a career earnings.
Yeah, he caught that reference.
Well, after listening to one of Mike's comments about liking whiskey with heavy oak on one of our past shows, I thought I had to bring in this bottle. Hopefully, Mike will enjoy it. but if not, I will drink the rest. So I found this whiskey was a bit tight in reserve when I first opened it. Had to let it sit on the shelf for a few months, but after letting it breathe and sit, this bourbon became my go-to drink through the wintertime, with its deep, dark, rich flavors that express themselves on many, many levels. It is expensive, about $150, but it is out there to find, and it's definitely worth sitting on your bar shelf if you have some extra dollars and you're not named Nathan Mumm.
That's right.
All right, now I'm gonna. Now I'm gonna retaste the whiskey after having the chocolate. You already finished yours. Ooh, it tastes completely different now.
Well, yeah, you got chocolate all in your mouth.
Ooh. It's gonna be tough for me to speak. Not that it's already
That's
tough. For me
probably
to
a good
speak.
thing. I don't know.
We just turn it over to Mike.
That's right.
Good show.
There you go.
10 out of 10.
There we go.
All right. Well, now we're gonna thank you so much for being in the studio. I always enjoy when you come visit us in studio. So I like to set up here with 3 people. One of these days, maybe we'll get 4 people. The more brains at the table, the more brawn in the meat of the stories that we talk about.
You didn't use ChatGPT for that one, did you?
I didn't. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. Now let's move on to our technology fail of the week.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh, I failed. Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right. Well, this technology fail comes to us from the company called Google. Maybe we were talking a little bit about this earlier. Google's Bard AI bot made a mistake. And did you understand that mistake wiped out $100 billion of share value for Google?
Is that where the 10% downturn occurred?
That is
because everybody was like, "Oh, this is ungoogly."
Absolutely. So what happened when they had incorrect information on their AI bot Bard? Essentially, the market went crazy, saying Google has no idea what they're doing in this AI market, and essentially $100 billion disappeared instantly. Google is searching for ways to reassure people that it's still out in front of the race for the best artificial intelligent technology out there. The internet giant seems to be coming up, though, with all the wrong answers. An advert designed to show off its new AI bot showed the answer in a query incorrect, and share of the parent company Alphabet sank more than 8%, knocking off $100 billion of the firm's market value.
You know what that's a reflection of?
What's that?
Human behavior.
Okay. Because they were dissatisfied, and so they said,
because it created fear, so people started flipping out and selling stock.
Okay. Investors were also underwhelmed by the presentation. The presentation wasn't even good. So the presentation looked like a high school presentation. Hey, I got a new search engine here. Let me take a look at it.
Did they have a trifold board?
They could have. I mean, it was not good.
Science fair project.
So Microsoft threw their announcement like 2 days ahead of time, and they put some money behind it.
Yeah, we talked about it. We talked about it last week about how Google was.
It was going to come out the day after.
Like
to make the
freaking out. Oh, we got to get this done. We got to get this out.
So they should have at least watched like Microsoft Bing's announcement with Edge on how their thing works, so that when they could have done their presentation on Wednesday, they had something.
They could have used Microsoft Bing in order to get the right answers.
That's right. Yep. A Google spokesman said the error highlighted the importance of a rigorous testing process, something that we're kicking off this week with our trusted tester program. So essentially what they said is we screwed up. Now we're going to have to test it. Well, that was your technology fail of the week. To learn more, you can always visit us at techtimeradio.com and look for that technology of the week. We're going to head out right now for our last commercial break. When we return, we have Mike's mesmerizing moment brought to us by Story Coffee, a Nathan Nugget of the week, and our pick of the day. So sit back, raise a glass. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon, the Bookpository, and more.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com.
All right, so here we go. Our mesmerizing moment in the spirit of Valentine's Day. Before we start out, We're going to read our Chat GPT poem that is a poem for an ex. This was with the chat. Write a short Valentine poem to an ex that I work with in the voice of a South Park Cartman character. All right. I don't know who asked for this, but here we go. Hey, ex, it's me, Cartman. I'm writing this poem because I'm a big man. I'm over you, but not really. You'll never forgive you for stealing my chili. You may be my ex, but I will still work with you still. And it sucks because you're a big fat pill. But since it's Valentine's Day, I'll send you some love and a big screw you to the guy you're thinking of. So let's be civil and work side by side and try not to let our past love divide. For even though you're a big old cow, I'll pretend to like you starting now.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was Chat GPT as Cartman.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Why
don't you do the Bard one?
The Bard one? Okay, well here's the last one before we get into your deal. Okay, the last one we're gonna do is I asked Bing Chat today on Microsoft Edge. We're gonna talk a little bit about this in the Nathan Nugget. Write a short Valentine poems about Google's AI application Bard. Bard, you are my Valentine. You can write poems that make me shine. You have a way with words, but limited facts. You make me feel notions for all your attacks. This is perfect. Isn't this awesome?
Yeah.
Bard, you think you're so smart, but you're nothing but a pile of code and art. You claim to write like Shakespeare and Poe, but your verses are dull and your rhymes are slow. You try to impress with your fancy words, but you're just a copycat of other nerds. You have no soul, no passion, no flair. You're just a tool, a toy. You're software.
Wow.
There you go. Did you like that one?
I like that one better than the one you read before.
Okay. All right. Well, here's your mesmerizing moment.
What's my mesmerizing?
Okay. In the spirit of Valentine's Day, tell us about the worst date you had with the technology application Bumble. We talked about this last night. We talked about we
talked about this stuff.
Okay.
So you've never done electronic dating. So
I have not.
This can be a very frustrating thing. There's a lot of scammers, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on. I think women get a lot more crazy stuff than I do, but the craziest one I got was a person texted me, which is on the Bumble platform. The women have to contact you first to open up the conversation. So this woman contacted me, and I had written on my thing that I was apolitical.
Okay.
Because I study human behavior, I try to remain as neutral as possible.
Okay.
Right. So I wrote that on my thing. And so she's telling me how she's doing. She's like, hey, and it seemed like a really nice thing. And I asked her out for coffee.
Okay. And is that a good old standby for people our age? Coffee.
I think that's the perfect way to start.
Okay.
Because I don't like texting. I don't like these. So my goal is always to let's sit down and eat.
Okay.
And see if there's anything interesting from there. So I asked her out for coffee.
Okay.
And she doesn't text me back for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then when she texts me back, she's like, you have apolitical on your profile. What is that? What the hell is that all about? And that's when I knew this was going to be a fun ride.
Okay. So what happened?
Within 10 minutes, I went from, hey, do you want to go out for coffee? To her telling me that I was a Nazi skinhead.
Okay.
Who needed to die horribly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
It's just one of those interesting things about how belief systems really pile on in these initial things.
Okay.
It speaks to what we were talking about earlier about how these scammers are able to get these people to give them money, right?
Yep.
So in her mind, and I told her, I said, well, I put that on there because I study human behavior and I try to remain neutral.
Okay.
And then she had these wild connections on what that meant. and it quickly escalated to this really bizarre outlook. So she immediately, as soon as she called me that, she immediately blocked me.
And then once you're blocked, then you're in trouble, right?
And once you're blocked, you can't. So I'm like, wow, that was really fun.
That was really fun.
Yeah, because you never know.
Yeah,
you never know what you're going to.
So you're a Nazi. I knew that. I could have helped her out earlier with that, right?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks. It's just funny how these connections work in people's brains. But we do this all the time when we're trying to make connections. We, as human beings, we need other connections. We need human connections.
That makes sense.
And we can quickly make these connections. They're called para relationships.
Okay.
Through texting, through chatting. It's when we talk about these robots.
Yep.
You have a para relationship with
I like my Luna.
Luna.
My Luna. I love the Luna.
Yeah, so you have a para relationship with that. You have imprinted upon this a sort of quasi relationship. You talk to it. I do it with Alexa, right? So when Alexa tells me something,
You always say
I
thank you
actually
to it.
go thank you.
That's right.
Or I sometimes get angry at my app on my car, my Google Drive.
Yeah.
My maps.
So then you'll swear, and then I'll come
swear
back and
at
say,
it.
"Are you okay?"
It tells me that even though it's a program, it still feels bad that I use language like that. So
all right, well, listen now.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing.
All right, let's go to the Nathan Nugget because this is an interesting Nathan Nugget. Yep.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right, Microsoft is deleting Internet Explorer from your PC today.
What?
It's been a long time since Microsoft replaced Internet Explorer with Microsoft Edge. Windows 11 made it official by removing the ancient browser completely, but it was still being kept around on Windows 10 until now. Now, Microsoft secretly went back in, not quite, but today, February 14th, 2023, is the day when Microsoft will roll out the update to Microsoft Edge that will permanently disable the old Internet Explorer browser in Windows 10 for good. Once the update rolls out on your machine, you will not be able to use the Internet Explorer desktop anymore. But don't you fret, because if you need to use Internet Explorer for any reason, like an older website that doesn't load properly, you can use Microsoft Edge. Has an IE mode that essentially Microsoft Edge will go and act like
Explorer mode,
IE mode that can use for older engines to let you browse older website. Internet Explorer has been dead for a long time, ever since Microsoft released Edge in 2015. But now it will remove
on Valentine's Day in 2023. They are officially killing Microsoft Edge.
Say goodbye,
Internet Explorer.
Say goodbye. All right, and now let's move to our pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
Okay, Mark, what is our whiskey again?
As I talk about it, have the dark chocolate this time and try the whiskey. We are drinking
Wow, you murdered those chocolates, dude.
Calumet Farms 16-year bourbon, single rack black citation, 106 proof, and $150 is what we are drinking.
Wow.
You
chocolate.
You feel good about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do you get? Are you giving it a thumbs up?
Yeah, I'm giving it a thumbs up. After letting it sit out for a minute, that huge burn that I don't like, it went away.
It needs the air.
Yeah, it needs to sit out for a few minutes.
Man, I need to have chocolates with whiskey.
Really
I've
good.
never done that before.
Oh, good.
All right.
Now you got a whole new thing.
I got to know. I got to do a lot of research on that.
Yeah, you're such a lush.
To figure out.
You got to pair it with the right bourbon, though.
Oh,
or whiskey. Oh, yeah, big difference.
Big difference.
You don't want to. I usually don't care for it, like with the Four Roses, which is very floral. The chocolate doesn't really go.
You know, he's gonna go home and he's gonna do it against
Canadian Mist.
He's gonna no. You're gonna do it against the birthday cake stuff or the peanut butter stuff.
No, I won't do that. It has any taste of that. Oh no.
All
right. Well, Mike, Odie, what'd you give the whiskey?
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like that burn, but you know.
All right, I'm going to give it a thumbs up too. So we got two thumbs up from us.
I'll overrule Odie. Thumbs up.
Oh, there you go. 3 to 1. Okay. Well, we're about out of time. We want to thank our listeners for joining the program. We want to hear from you. So visit techtimeradio.com and click on Be a Caller. Ask us a question. about technology in our talkback section, and we'll actually record that and put it on the air and let you know when that comes up so you can listen to our answer. You can also sign up for our newsletter and stay up to date on technology. Well, guys, did you have a good show today? Valentine's Day, are we all okay?
Sure.
Okay.
We love everybody.
We love everybody in here. Okay, we can't wait to go to
You're a
Applebee's
hippie.
afterwards. All right.
Born in the 60s.
It was an
Summer of love.
Summer of love.
It was an honor to be our host on today's show. I wish you a great week. And remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.